Welcome back to the show. I'm David Nelson for the Traders Network. Tonight we're broadcasting worldwide from downtown New York City at the Harvard Club for iHeartRadio and CBS. We're here at the annual Leadership Gala for the New York Global Leaders Dialogue. My next guest is Sergio Fernandez De Cordova. He's the Vice Chairman and Treasurer of the New York Global Leaders Dialogue, but that's just part of the story. Sergio is an internationally recognized entrepreneur, investor, and philanthropist, and has founded several organizations, including Public Foundation, Fuel Outdoor, and really many more. Sergio, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you, David.
Sergio, you and I, we just came from the dinner, and it was a pretty exciting event. We saw some great speeches. Tell me what you thought was the overriding theme this evening.
I think the overriding theme here and really the goal of the New York Global Leaders Dialogue is really connecting the current generation with the next generation of leaders. And we saw Paul Polman really speak to that in saying that, it's not just about the current leadership that exists in corporate America, but really how are we utilizing all of our resources and all of our assets. It's not just the currency, it's not just the balance sheet, but it's a total inclusion. And I think that we were able to really put a really great speech out there.
They really touched on a lot of issues tonight. What I want to know is, what's the connection between the New York Global Leaders Dialogue, the Public Foundation, which of course you're the chairman, and the United Nations? Can you connect the dots for us?
Of course. To me, one of the things that Paul said earlier today when he was with the young leaders was, when you get into the element of sustainability and development and looking at, how you're engaged the public and private sector, it's not just something that you do for a year. It's a commitment you make for life. And something that is a way of life. And I think that hearing him say that with the young leaders was really powerful, because a lot of the folks that were there were looking for aspiration and kind of looking to learn, and for him to really bestow that, that inspiration is amazing. And to me, the reason why, Global Leaders, New York Global Leaders is there is really about leadership, political, public and private. The foundation, Public Foundation, uses media, and again, it is a PPP model as well. It uses media and it brings in.
You used the word there. What kind of model is that?
It's public-private partnerships, PPP. Why? Because we bring in the private sector, and we help basically set the table and educate them on how to work with the impact sector, the NGO sector, the United Nations, the White House, all the different folks that we work with. And hence, that's how the United Nations fits in, because we believe that the Sustainable Development Goals, what Paul spoke a lot about today, is really something that we really need focus on. And our vertical with the foundation is media, vertical with the New York Global Leaders is next gen.
You said something once in an interview that seems to speak to what you're talking about right now, and I actually wrote it down, and correct me if I'm wrong. You said, "I believe in media being a catalyst to changing the world." And you talked about an aha moment. What was it?
Well, the aha moment was 4 a.m. 2011. Really when I realized that I've been doing so many things. A lot of people said you can't be a jack of all trades, but I didn't know where everything was going. And the aha moment was I realized that I needed to exit my business and create a business with a purpose, and create a foundation that was focused on using media for impact. And that, as well as one of the things, again, that was said today, which I think is so amazing to hear Paul say this, was that a lot of these things can't be done without partnerships. So what I said is I had this crazy idea, but I had to go out and find partners. I had to find partners on one side of the conversation, which was on the business side, and then find partners to help me, and my co-founders to help me execute on the foundation side, because I wasn't going to be able to do it alone. But I did have the experience of having done that my entire life.
It seems like, the marriage of business and an organization like New York Global Leaders, that seems to be the key. Because in the end, this is going to require a lot of capital, and it's going to require a lot of brain power. How do you view your role? You sit at the very top of the pyramid here at New York Global Leaders. How do you view your role, and what are some of the goals you'd like to see taken care of over the next couple of years?
Well, as you heard today, we talked about having, Muhtar Kent, the CEO of Coca-Cola, and all he talked about was the next generation, right? We had, the CEO of Sprint, Dan Hesse, come in, and also all he talked about was the future of technology and the next generation, the future of entrepreneurship. Then today we heard Paul Polman talk about, engaging and embracing the future. One of the things that excited him the most, is, as you also heard Dan Hesse say, was the young leaders and sort of their engagement. And these folks are, again, it's the next generation of DNA of companies. And I think one of the things that I actually tweeted that Paul said is the companies of tomorrow have yet to be created. The companies that will run tomorrow have not even been started yet. And these are the people that are in the room that are being inspired by folks like Muhtar, Dan, and Paul that are going to reinvent tomorrow.
Unfortunately, we're out of time, but you said it. In the end, it's going to be about the young people. Sergio, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Dave.
And thank you for joining. By the way, a quick thank you goes out to 1-800 Public Relations for all the PR and media support. Thanks again. I'm David Nelson.